Step one, you say build tag teams, then you split them week threes. Street Profit, yeah, forget that. Now they're solo on Smackdown. You had gold with the Usos, New Day ran the whole show. Motor City came back strong, still just lost in the shuffle. Where did all the tag teams go? Belts on random singles now. This division's on life support, booked like it don't matter. You had depth, you let it die. Now it's thrown together, guys. If this is how you run the show, that's not how you save tag gold.
Okay, Greg, start with your joke.
It wasn't a joke. It was a true statement. Just before we hit record, I told Brad, I was like, I feel so unprepared for this. I have no notes. Kind of like WWE going into WrestleMania.
Like, seriously. Oh, wait, hold on. Talk about unprepared. There, you should hear a difference now.
No. No difference.
Now you do.
Now I do.
Yeah, I didn't have my mic on. I was like, just hanging out here, just frigging around, no big deal. Well, Greg and I are having fun. And Greg, so let's talk about our week, because this is what we do. I'm Brad McKinnon, Brad the dad. He is Greg Feltham, Greg Father Feltham, and we're your SmackDaddies. And we usually talk about our week, and then we're going to talk about ourselves, because we're egotistical maniacs like we're Hulk Hogan.
That's right. I almost said brother, but I thought better of it.
We're not, I don't think we're not from that part of Nova Scotia that's notorious. So we don't think we can say awful things.
Sure.
Do you not know what I'm talking about?
No.
So I'll tell this story. I had a great week. Easter's always fun. We actually didn't do very much, which is nice. I have a story for off air, which if we did get to, this is probably the most ridiculous story I could ever tell. And okay. we would need to have well over 500 subscribers. We would need to have some subsidies before I could tell that story.
Very good. Okay.
So anybody, if you really want to hear this story, and it's a doozy, and I'm not even kidding, Greg will confirm after the show.
Okay.
Yeah. So nothing really happened. I mean, I'm traveling next week, but I'll be back for Friday. I actually have Friday off, so I can watch a ton of wrestling Thursday and Friday.
Yes. Next weekend is WrestleMania weekend. I don't even know what we're doing. We haven't even talked about if we're going to even do a show next Friday, because in reality, there's really nothing going to be on. That's going to be a phone-in SmackDown besides the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
I feel like we should record something maybe earlier in the day and just do like a what we're looking forward to this weekend and set up the show, and then like, I don't think we'll get back together to talk about the show, because there's stuff on this show that I'm very excited for, Greg. And I feel bad to say that there's things on the show that actually, I don't feel bad to say there are things on the show that I don't give a rat about, because there's some really bad stuff being planned for this show.
Yep. There is. There is.
Anything else exciting happen? I mean, we had Easter. Did you get chocolate?
No.
Your wife didn't buy you chocolate?
No. I mean, we did a Walmart order in advance, and I brought out some little mini eggs. I got a leg. Are you getting a leg?
Not really.
Okay. I'm lagging. Do you want me to restart just in case?
Sure.
I should have done this beforehand.
Okay, let's do this. I will... you know what I'm going to do, Greg, is I'm going to stop, and I'm going to restart the recording when you come back.
Okay. And then we can go back to Easter.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to just end the call for everybody.
That was.
Oh yeah, you sound good. We'll be fine, Greg.
You want to make me co-host so I can do the backup?
Oh yeah, duh. See, we're restarting. Oh, I was going to change your name. That's not funny.
You can
Make
do
a
that too.
co-host. No, I like it. Listen. Everything is queued on our keeping the same names.
Close this computer. Okay, I got the backup going. Beautiful. Okay.
All right, we'll take it from Easter because you didn't. You
You were
guys.
asking about Easter chocolate.
Yeah,
so.
Easter chocolate's delicious. We don't do like a lot, but enough that the kids don't complain, or me, because my wife always likes to remind me. I get mad when I don't get chocolate at Easter. Sharon
Really?
got me chocolate.
Well, that's nice. We no, we didn't do a lot at Easter this year because it's my kid's 16 and now I've got to go and get him a driving school and all that fun stuff. So he got a bag of Harry Potter gummies, the Harborough Harry Potter ones that Costco had, and a pair of like generic like earpod type things. Yeah.
We got lemon pound cake.
I see.
That's a throwback to the song from Lemon Pound Cake.
Yes, I figured.
Yeah, and my wife found some that was made in Europe, so that meant that some of the gluten issues that I deal with were not dealt with because hey, when it's made in Europe, apparently I am not celiac. There's certain flour that apparently hates my guts. Literally hates my guts.
Wow. Yeah. So you don't make your lemon pound cake yourself?
I will now. My wife surprised me and bought me some because she was like, "I know you're not going to want to do anything this weekend." I'm like, "That's a fair statement."
Fair enough.
Well, like for years, Greg, Easter was, as you know, busy. Now it's like, oh, yes. I get to like see family, hang out, watch a movie.
Speaking of movies, did you end up going to see the Mario movie?
So I am fasting. We'll have to do that review. My daughter wants to go with me, and we're going to go watch it after her exams. That is I finished my exams. She is dialed in, Greg, to get her exams done. So she's like, Dad, can we go see it after? I was like, I respect that.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's I see that.
So it's after WrestleMania. She got exams all the way to the 22nd of April. So that weekend, I'm off this is the 4-day April month because every week this month, I only have 4 days. So I'm going to go see it after that.
See, that's not bad.
It's not bad at all. No,
that's not bad. That's not a bad deal.
Greg, so I mentioned you earlier this week. We kind of blew up on social media.
Yeah. What up with that?
I don't know. Like, it makes me question a lot of things. People really liked our song about tag teams and tag team wrestling. And specifically it's called Where Did All the Tag Teams Go? You heard it off the top today. If you haven't heard it before and you're just listening to the podcast, go check it out on our YouTube. Go check it out. Like on Instagram, it's at almost 36,000 views at this point, Greg, in a week.
Yeah. I was saying that to my son. I was like, I don't know what happened here, but here we are.
So I think it's because we hit a nerve, Greg. I had some analytics done by our friend ChatGPT, and I had Grok doing analytics on it too, and both of them came back with the same conclusion. We hit a nerve.
You think so?
I think if you look at the comments, you have all kinds of people commenting. We even have a shout out to one of the wrestlers from NWA who commented, "If you want to watch tag team wrestling, you have to go to the NWA."
Fair enough.
I think what happened, Greg, was that we hit the nerve, the fact that the tag teams aren't there. And in fact, our song coming out today is talking about the fact that we have 2 nights of WrestleMania and no men's tag team matches will be on the show at all.
Nope, there's not going to be any men's tag team matches.
Why?
I guess it's not hot right now.
That's bull crap.
Well, Brad, where's the tag titles been up to this point? MFTs, Wyatt 6, MFTs, Wyatt 6. And what is it that we want to do to the MFTs and Wyatt 6?
Send them to Raw, send them away. Don't come back.
Hold on. I think I see them forming behind you.
Oh, okay. Greg is
Hold on. Hold on. There they come in.
I wasn't expecting to make them work this early. Sorry, guys.
He's seen enough. He's had his fill. Please take them now. Lord will.
See? So, I mean, that's why we're not going to have any tag team, men's tag team on WrestleMania.
Because nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's brutal, Greg.
What is it CM Punk said? To stop me when I'm telling lies?
Oh, well, he said a lot worse on Raw this week.
I mean, that would require me to watch Raw or not fast forward through the recaps of SmackDown.
Greg's like, I am not, you do not pay me enough to watch the recaps of Raw or Raw itself.
These are true statements.
We miss you guys, by the way, Randy and Eric. We're looking forward to your return down the line. So, mostly because then we know what actually happened on Raw.
Yeah.
And also because we love you guys. So, anyways, my point being, yeah, like you look at the teams that are on the roster. So I can tell you all the tag teams. I'm going to go through the ones off the top of my head, and we can see which ones I miss. Viking Raiders.
Yes.
Oh, come on, Greg. We'll play a word association game. Viking Raiders.
Horns.
The Creed Brothers.
Apollo.
Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy.
Greg doesn't even know who Alpha Academy is.
No,
point.
I do, but it's like I would say Chad Gable, but I mean that's yeah.
The Usos.
Bad new theme song.
New Day.
Old news.
The Vision.
Needs glasses.
That was a good one, Greg. Let's go with Fraxium.
I don't give a frack.
LWO.
30 years too old.
Motor City Machine Guns.
Milk curtains.
Oof. Johnny Gargano and whoever they put him with.
Oh, Johnny Cuckolding.
And who else am I forgetting? Oh, Los Garzas were on the show tonight.
Lost Garzas is probably more apt. Street Profits.
Also on Milk Cartons.
Mm-hmm.
MFTs times 2. There's 2 tag teams, Greg. Like, there's 5 guys.
Yeah. Go to Monday for tags? I don't know.
Wyatt's.
Oh, why are you here?
Miz and Kit Wilson.
That is one of my favorites right now.
And then, of course, our priest.
Our priest. So good. And they were really good tonight.
But the problem is that none of these guys are getting on the Mania. Like, not one.
Nope. How many of these guys are going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal next week?
That's a really good question. I would say all of them.
All right.
And if you're not, I would say you should probably start dusting up your indie resume.
Yeah, because Black Monday is going to come quick.
Oh, yeah.
Or Black Friday.
Like, there is a ton of WWE tag teams. And I'm like looking through, I was like, is there any more that we're missing?
So you said you're off next Friday, right?
Yeah, the whole day.
There's this god-awful SmackDown to watch next Friday night. And of course, this is in Vegas. So then are you going to also stay up and watch the God Awful Hall of Fame?
Oh, no, that's the next day. Like, definitely next day. That's breakfast viewing.
Are you even going to watch it?
Oh, I will. Yeah, I'm happy for some of the guys that are getting in, like Bad News Brown. I wish he was still alive to get his induction. Sid's in this class. Stephanie's one's gonna be the most interesting because she has to avoid is she gonna avoid talking about her dad?
I think that is probably the one that if I am going to look up something, that will be the one I will look up. But the rest of them, yeah.
AJ, come on, AJ. Well, AJ's you're going to be able to watch on like a YouTube short. He said he's going to be the shortest one almost of all time.
I legitimately forgot AJ Styles was going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, he was so early, right? And then also, I really would like to watch Demolition go in because I think those guys, like, this might be the last public appearance of those guys together.
So, legitimate question: who's the headliner?
It's got to be Steph.
That's my guess, but like, yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, we hit a nerve, Greg, because you're right. These tag teams are all going to end up there, and we're going to watch this next week. And yeah, I was waiting for them because they announced all the matches on Tuesday, the 2 nights of WrestleMania. And they're not going to be on. And this is the first time in 10 years, Greg, that there are no tag teams. There's no tag team title match for the men at WrestleMania.
I mean, sometimes that happens. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Okay, but you could have when we started complaining about the Wyatts and the MFTs back in January, you could have pivoted right then and there.
You could have.
But they didn't.
They didn't. I mean, they also pulled Bailey off of WrestleMania last year. So, like, WWE makes their decisions, and whether they're right or wrong.
Yeah, you and I are. But I would say that it is something that last year, this time, when we got the 3-hour SmackDown, the one thing we got out of it was really good tag team matches.
Yeah.
And we did not get this year.
No.
And what we did get was really good U.S. title matches. And what's your reward for that?
We get Sami Zayn and Trick Williams at WrestleMania, and oh my gosh.
Yeah,
from Boston.
Why is Mello? Yeah, why is Mello?
Thank you.
Like, you could have thrown Mello and Ilya into that ladder match that's going to be on ESPN.
Yeah.
And should have. Let's put that out there. Those two guys should have been thrown into the IC title match. Make it 8 guys. It doesn't change the match that much. And it rewards those 2 guys who busted their ass most of this year to make SmackDown 3 hours watchable.
I kind of laughed a little bit later in the show when they get the segment of Sammy, and he's talking about how he's a main eventer from WrestleMania, and I'm like, and now you are opening the pre-show, dude.
Well, even better than that, he was a main eventer from WrestleMania. What was the main event match? Do you remember?
It was tag team with Kevin Owens.
Right. Facing the Usos for what?
The tag championships.
And from 2 years, which is going to be is the theme of our song today that's coming out on socials to promote this podcast. The theme of the song, Greg, is from main event to nowhere.
Fair enough.
And I think that is and I would say, the other joke my wife made last night, and I'll get into it when we start the show. There's definitely a joke about recaps to be made on this show.
What? We don't do recaps. What are you talking about?
Okay, we've dilly-dallied and we shilly-shallied. Let's play the game where we go through SmackDown.
Why? Why do we do this?
Podcast and sports entertainment is Brad, the dad and father Greg, the SmackDaddies.
to your SmackDown review for the Hub. I am Brad the Dad. Running shotgun with me is my tag team partner, your father and my father, Greg, Father Feltham.
Bless you, my son.
Did I ever tell you my wife for years thought you were a Catholic priest?
Yeah, she's not the only one. Remember how we did meet someone who legitimately questioned whether or not I was a Catholic priest and where my collar was?
Yes, this has happened a few times because you got the name from our good friend Jason Agnew of Father Feltham, and it's a thing.
It is.
So my wife started.
It works well with you being Brad the Dad and me being a dad, but I went for father instead of dad, so it works.
It works. Well, it's alliteration. Dad and Brad, Feltham and father. Like, I got to say, Jason was good with the alliteration. So here we go, buddy. My wife said we should make a song about whether SmackDown can start without recaps. In fact, I put an expletive in there, but this is going out as a podcast and on YouTube, so I don't want to be demonetized.
All right.
So, Greg, why do we have to start with a recap?
Because we have a formula that we have to keep to and we cannot deviate from.
Okay, good to know. And then, of course, we're also going to start in the parking lot,
right,
where we're going to see Cody coming in, and he gets warned not to beat up Pat McAfee. From on high, people are protecting Pat McAfee. This is an allusion to the fact that Pat McAfee and Ari Emanuel have a very close relationship.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Tell me how you really feel, Greg.
I was actually pretty high on this last week because I did not see the whole Pat McAfee thing coming, and I thought, okay, that was really great. That's a different take. That's something different. But this was so stupid. It's not funny to have him come up and be like, yeah, you can't touch him. Why? What's the reason behind it? Who has made this decision? Is there a contract in place? No, it's just if you're a WWE employee, you can't touch Pat McAfee. Like this, it's just so stupid. And then the whole, he pulls up in his truck and then like throws his keys at Nick Aldis and puts him in the jacket pocket. And it's like, when did Nick Aldis become Nick Aldis? It seems like he's taken some lessons from Johnny Gargano right now.
Johnny Depressing? No,
the other one.
Johnny Cuckold?
Yeah, because he seems a little impotent.
What else did he do today, too, by the way? Because when you look at this show, how many of the matches did we get after the show started, Greg?
I don't even know. I've now gotten to a point where I watch SmackDown in 3 or 4 different blocks.
So you can't sit through it in one setting?
No, I never do now.
Why?
In this 3-hour format, because I have to watch like an hour the night before, like on the Friday night. Then I get up in the morning on Saturday morning, stupid early, take my kid to the rink. I watch it in the car for 45 minutes or so while I get, tea and become a normal human being. And then I usually have to finish the last bit when I get home.
All right, Greg, I'm going to rename this file when we're done today. I'm going to share this with you. I'm getting in the practice of sharing images so that we have something to talk about. Okay. I think this picture summarizes how you feel about Cody's segment.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are going to see this, it's in our graphic bottom left corner. This is Cody Rhodes. He's with Jelly Roll in this scene, but I cut Cody out by himself and he's just kind of looking down and away and looking sad. He looks very sad. This is how Greg feels about this storyline. Very sad. Very sad.
Well, and it also doesn't make any sense, this whole Jelly Roll thing, because 2 weeks ago, Jelly Roll was tangled up with The Miz and Kit Wilson, and now he's tangled up with Cody and Randy Orton with no real kind of payoff, no real anything. Like, Kit Wilson has moved on with his life after losing to Jelly Roll and never to be talked about again. Like, this whole thing, this whole championship thing for Saturday night just makes me really question. Well, I think it more goes to cement my decision that I really am not going to probably watch most of WrestleMania, if anything at all.
Wow. So
Yeah.
so the SmackDaddies, I mean, we'll be SmackDaddy reviewing WrestleMania. No, I get what you mean, because what was the story that we could have gotten, which was Cody was the disciple of Randy Orton,
Yeah.
and Randy Orton doesn't think the old dog can get number 15. And he then decides that he is going to go back into the darkness after Cody gives him permission. And do we need Jelly Roll, or do we need Pat McAfee? Probably not. You could just tell that story. But the problem is, in that story, Cody's the heel and Randy's the face. And I think all of this icing on the cake is trying to get us to go, well, Jelly Roll's friends with Cody, so he's the good guy. And Pat McAfee's being a donkey, so he must, and he's friends with Randy, so that's the bad guy. And is it going to work, Greg?
I don't know if any of this is going to work, dude.
Yeah. And again,
there is legitimately one match that I actually want to see on night one.
What's that match, Greg?
That's Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan.
Oh, I forgot that the other women's match is on night 2, and that's going to be a great match. Like, just based on what we're seeing.
I am much more likely to watch night 2 of WrestleMania up to the main event.
Yeah, I'm very cold on the main event, and I don't like CM Punk to begin with, and I can't imagine this match is going to be over under the ring entrances are longer than the match.
Yeah. No. All right. Let's keep going on.
Okay, Greg's like, we could beat this horse for a while. Okay, so
I was gonna say, Greg, depressing here.
Greg is getting depressing. Don't worry, the choir is going to be back later. They have a special song for you. They've been rehearsing all week.
That will cheer me up.
That'll cheer you
our
up.
Choir.
Okay, so we had one recap. Here's another one. Do you know that EO got destroyed on Raw? Well, you do now, and this leads to Rhea Ripley.
I didn't, because I fast forward to this shit.
Rhea Ripley came out and she wants Jade right now. And EO says, basically, EO comes out and says, I can fight my own battles. And Gregory, this means we're going to get an EO Sky match on SmackDown. And if Nick Aldis will agree. And of course, Nick Aldis has nothing planned for like 3/4 of this show. He had recaps. He just said, can you imagine how many more recaps we would have got if these matches didn't come together?
Thank God that, EO happened to show up tonight, because otherwise.
Yeah, well, thank God that all of these people showed up, because the only match I think that was actually booked is the next one. So, Greg, after all, we have to have everybody. Now we get people walking through the back, which leads to match number 1, brought to you by Papa John's. Which, by the way, if you've been watching Danhausen, he said, don't buy pizza, don't buy tacos. Only buy Winghausen.
Yes, Wingstop Winghausen. I actually really enjoy Wingstop.
Yeah, so do I. I might order some Wingstop for WrestleMania next weekend.
There's no Wingstop here.
Oh, now you tell me.
Yeah, we don't have Wingstop.
Razza Frazen. I would really like some Wingstop. Stupid Canada. All right. Anyways, this match. I was very impressed. I think Bayley and Alexa have good timing together. Alexa's gymnastic attacks look awesome, always, including some of those gymnastic forward rolls where she does into a body slam, or into an elbow drop or a full body press. However, the best one was when Bayley power bombed her into the corner and she took that nasty looking front rolling power bomb. But of course, this match has Charlotte Flair there, so distraction, and Bayley gets rolled up because Charlotte threw her jacket. I'm going to ask you a serious question, Greg. Shouldn't that have been a distraction or a disqualification?
It would have been if I actually cared.
So the only good news about this is we didn't get the Bellas.
That's very fair.
And there were 2 women's pseudo tag team matches this week, and both of them had finishes.
I mean, they had something.
Oh, come on, Greg. We were complaining for weeks that they didn't get finishes.
Fair.
All right. Here's another recap. Sami Zayn versus Carmelo, and how Sami is coming to the dark side.
Yeah.
And Trick Williams is in the back, dude. And I thought about you immediately. Trick Williams, Little Yachty, and Little Yachty's wearing the gingerbread man shirt.
Yes, he was.
Greg, I haven't wanted to buy a WWE shirt in a long time. And I don't really like white shirts as a rule because I tend to spill things on them.
All those things are true. Yes.
I may have to break my rule, dude.
Because you like the gingerbread one.
I love this shirt. It says whoop that on the back too, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the whoop that on the back.
Does that make it less appealing?
I don't know if I really care one way or the other.
Anyways, Little Yachty says the good news for Mello is that while you're rehabbing your knee, you can watch Trickley win the tag titles. Mello says, hey, man, you better be careful because I'm going to be back after WrestleMania, and I hope you win because I'm coming for that title. And then Little Yachty said, you be watching this from catering. And then Cardona gets in his face, and basically Yachty's mouth gets Trick Williams a match against Matt Cardona, a.k.a. Bob Orton Sr., a.k.a. the King of the Indies.
Yeah.
Greg's favorite wrestler in WWE right now, Matt Cardona, King of the Indies.
We'll talk about that when we get to the match because I obviously have thoughts and I have something to share that's relatively new on that. So
has he been released since this morning? Have I not been paying attention?
He has not.
Okay, phew. Because I would have been sad if he was released.
No, he has not. But he has posted on social, so we'll read that in a little bit.
Okay, so Drew McIntyre promo. Greg, did you watch any of this?
I had it on. Did I pay attention? No. Drew was in a jail cell. Here's what you can glean out of this promo. Drew's in a jail cell. Jacob Fatu belongs in a jail cell, and that's where you belong.
Where is this going?
This is going to suck.
You're really not having a good day, buddy.
I'm not having a good day with this. WWE, I was on such a high last week, Brad. And then I look at what we got coming up next week and coming into WrestleMania, because next week we've got that Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which I mean is always fun. Like, let's be honest. Maybe you and I can connect for a few minutes on Saturday morning to talk about the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. But the rest of SmackDown's going to suck, especially that 8-man street fight with the Wyatt Six taking on the MFTs.
I nailed it. Okay, so people were talking about this last night on some of our videos. I saw some chatter, and people basically were like, I thought I was being mean. And I was like, I'm not being mean. This is 100% that. And also, Uncle Howdy's not working out. I circled his arms in the video, Greg, because that dude is not working out.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be mean to the guy. I'm just saying, like, dude, it's going to be a terrible year for releases. You should be putting some effort into trying to keep yourself from being one of those releases.
Yes, that we might very well see some stuff real soon on that. Who knows?
Well, yeah, the week after WrestleMania is going to be brutal. And I don't wish releasing on anybody. I'm saying I'm worried about some of the guys who are really good wrestlers. Like, I like Uncle Howdy's character. I think that there's a place for the Wyatts, just not on my show.
Yeah.
I don't wish ill on these guys. I just wish better storylines on these guys. Okay, so Drew McIntyre is obsessed with the convict. Then from the jail, like, I saw this coming last week, Greg.
Yeah. I don't care. Quite frankly, I have no desire to watch an unsanctioned match for the two of them. I think unsanctioned match is quite lazy.
So this, by the way, also from the Where Are They Now fund, here comes our next match. Oh, wait, sorry. We have to do Jacob Fatu first. He's in the back. This is where he's from. And then Solo comes up and talks about how you're embarrassing the family. Every time you get brought up about you going to jail, it's an embarrassment to us. And Jacob says, not today. And if you want to run this back, we can. But Solo's not going to wrestle. He's going to make Tama Tonga fight.
Yep.
So Evil from New Japan is allegedly signed. I think we're getting, speaking of milk cartons, we'll see him in the Battle Royal next week. Shinsuke, Evil, and Tamatonga
Probably.
as a faction, and the Wyatts. And then not the Wyatts, and then the MFTs. That way the MFTs can have a feud with another group of people.
That's all we can hope for.
Anyways, this leads to that match later, which, by the way, again, if it wasn't for Matt Cardona and for this interaction, what were we going to watch for that basically last hour and a half of the show?
Apparently nothing.
Because we only had the first hour booked, and the first hour also included the Royce Keys. Did you watch any of the Royce Keys story stuff that they did to kind of build him up before his match?
No.
Okay, Greg, did you think it was fair that they waited for this moment? Like, did this guy request this? Like, why did we wait so long to see him since the Royal Rumble?
Quite frankly, if I were to guess, it's probably because they forgot about him.
I'm going to hope
legit so many people there that they probably forgot.
So many singles there. And this was like the ultimate example of we don't give a shit about the tag teams. Pardon my French, but Greg, Birdo's out there. And I'm like, this is one of the better tag teams, and we're going to feed him to Royce Keys.
Yep.
So the only offense Berto gets was when there's a distraction.
Spend too much time thinking about that Super Mario movie, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Anticipation. And Berto is basically picked up, caught with a power slam, like by both arms. He pulls him into one. And then when he jumps off top ropes, he gets slammed again and then thrown in for a really wicked spine buster. That spine buster looks awesome, but was it worth 2 months of waiting? Greg's like, nope. Okay, so Nick's in the back. He meets McAfee in the parking lot and says, hey, don't worry. Everybody's been told they can't touch you. Nobody that works here is allowed to touch you. And then McAfee gets confronted by Jelly Roll. And Jelly Roll's like, I don't work here. And you know what, Greg? This is the first logical thing that happened tonight.
So if that was the logical thing that happened there tonight, why the hell didn't he just deck him?
Why didn't he beat him up in the back?
Yeah, right then and there.
We needed somebody to announce the ticket sale because we need the heel to announce the ticket sale for WrestleMania.
Hold on, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Pat McAfee then he gets yanked off. Jelly Roll gets yanked off, and McAfee says, I got to go to the ring. I got to talk about this. But before he can talk about that, we get Royce Keys in the back. He's with Kathy Kelly. They've known each other for years. They're old friends, Greg. And he's so happy that he got to show the people in the Bay Area who he is, and he lists all the places in the Bay Area getting the cheap pop. And Solo runs in and says, hey, man, I run things on SmackDown. You need help. I got you.
Yeah.
Because if I need advice on how to be booked well on SmackDown, it's definitely I'm going to Solo.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, Greg. This is probably the most controversial thing and the thing people are going to talk about the SmackDown. The only question is, I don't know if you know this, but last week's SmackDown did well in the ratings, but on Cage Match is the worst rated SmackDown in the history of SmackDown.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So the question is, do you think A, this is going to do well in the ratings?
I don't think so.
And do you think people are going to hate this on Cage Match? The wrestling nerds that are like us?
Probably.
Is this worse than the reveal last week?
This segment, yes, 100%. Not even a doubt.
So McAfee flips off the crowd to the point that they had to black out the screen. And then they reshoot the shot so that you can't see his fingers. And throughout this thing, there are people doing that. So then he starts by picking on CM Punk, not the guy that his guy's feuding with. And he talks about how CM Punk sold out, wearing his license jacket, his license T-shirt. And he says, does the money go to the poor fans or into your bank account? I was waiting for him to use the government name, Phil Brooks' bank account.
That's right.
And does that account named Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. Yes.
There are people rolling in the aisles laughing at this, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sure. Uh, this was the same thing. This essentially was the same thing as last week, right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, my son hates Ram trucks.
Does
He,
he?
yeah, he doesn't. He thinks the only good truck is a GMC.
Okay.
So when I can't wait to tell him later that Ram Trucks is giving discounts to WrestleMania between here and Monday, 25% off all tickets, but Saturday only, Gregory.
That's right. Well, I mean, when you look at the schedule, I can see why they need help selling Saturday.
I think the scam is you'll buy Saturday and then you'll be like, I might as well buy Sunday while I'm there.
Yep.
So, Greg, Ram is given 25% off. How is Ram going to recover from this huge financial hit?
Ram's not actually giving 25% off.
You wait, that's Pat McAfee said they're going to give 25% off.
Sure, sure. Mm-hmm.
This is hilarious. So this leads to Cody coming out, and he's so angry about this discount.
Yes, that's why Cody is upset. It's all about the discount.
And he basically says that he never understood what a play wrestler was, but he now does. And he asks him if he wants to get the fan experience, the fanatics experience. We'll get you a belt that looks pretty much like the real one. We'll get you to go out. Well, I'll even tell, and he names the pyro guy on commentary about going out there. And you call them marks. I call them family because they're how I make my living. And when you're part of this business, you do that. And he says, Pat, just go home.
We've been preaching that for years for some of those wrestlers on that show.
I don't think I want McAfee to go home. And I don't think he's going home because he then replies saying, you wear a $1,000 suit because Ric Flair told you that's what you should do as a champion. And you know what? You'll get your wish. If Randy loses this match, I will go home and not come back. I think this pretty much tells us what's happening.
Yeah, that's the worst of it.
How is that the worst of it, Greg? I'm happy that we're getting like Randy Orton. If anybody deserves to be tie Ric Flair or beat Ric Flair, I would make the case that it's not John Cena. It's Randy friggin' Orton.
Yeah, but I mean, did you really need this? Like, do you need this stipulation? Does this stipulation actually add value? And the answer is no.
Oh, I don't know how to argue that point, Greg. Normally, I like to just take the opposite side to be funny, but it's like, no, there's no point.
Right? There's no buildup. There's no need for this stipulation of that I will leave WWE forever. Yeah, no, this is. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of heel Michael Cole. That's what this is reminding me of. And I'm getting PTSD. Like, if Pat McAfee came back now as a commentator as well, like having him in like the plexiglass booth.
He's basically in a plexiglass booth because nobody can touch him.
Yeah.
When Cody was threatening to touch him, I was dying, Greg. I was like, when he was like taking off his thing, I'm like, you're not going to do anything. You're just acting like a tough guy. Like he called McAfee for play wrestling. This is play wrestling, dude. This is the same thing. It's the same thing. And then of course, Jelly Roll's just there and gets beat up by Randy Orton and drug out, which causes the distraction and saves McAfee. And then McAfee distracts Cody and they beat down Cody. He gets like one glimmer of hope when McAfee tries to kick him, which by the way, big hops on Pat McAfee getting that high to kick Cody in the head. Like he got up pretty high. He looks great. But I mean, we get the draping DDT and we get the celebration. This segment, I think you're right. The problem with this segment was not like the whole segment. I think most of it was good. I think they went one step too far with a stipulation that we didn't need. This is like putting a hat on a hat.
Oh, I think you're being a little even more optimistic than I would on that. This to me is one of those nights where just like, really, I did not need any of this, and this has really made me question whether or not I want to even see. I was actually looking forward to seeing the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes thing. Now I've completely turned out.
I think this will be, out of the two main events, this is the wrestling match.
Yeah.
And that's how they should have sold this match, was that this was going to be two guys who can go. Because let's be honest, the other two guys, will they have a good match? Maybe. But if I'm betting, this is the wrestling match. Because these two guys have great matches, and they will have a great match together. All right. Yeah. Recap. Because that leads to Pat McAfee leaving. Oh, and by the way, another recap.
Hold on. Before we get that Pat McAfee leaving, when the hell did he get his keys back?
Yeah, how did he get them back from Nick Aldis's pocket? That was the part I skipped over, but that was really funny. I got to give Pat McAfee credit. That was he's amazing at this. It doesn't mean I have to like it. And if this was like him hyping up, like he was little Yachty hyping up a US title match, I probably would be really down with this. We are desperate to sell tickets, and we are finding all of the celebrities that we can give free tickets to.
I think desperate is the exact word to use. We are desperate.
And then Aldis needs to check on what happened to Jelly Roll. So and then Miz and Kit Wilson show up. Our buddy Kit is worried about the effects of the curse, and they want consequences. They don't believe in the curse and Dan Engler's a big faker.
They want consequences to Dan Engler.
But they get consequences to Danhausen, and in his first WWE match, we are getting a Danhausen match on SmackDown.
We're going to get a Danhausen SmackDown match. Did you think that's what you were going to get?
I was hoping we'd make his debut at WrestleMania.
I thought so too, but nope, we're going to get it tonight.
With the way Danhausen plays his shtick, we could have started a streak.
Yeah.
I think they should start a streak still.
They might.
Danhausen should win something. I think he should win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal next week.
He actually does have a streak.
You're right. He's undefeated in WWE.
He's 8-0 in curses and 1-0 in matches.
Yeah, spoiler alert for later, but we don't care. We are. Yeah. This was you have to give Greg this because this was his joy. And Greg,
this and how to download the app. Yeah, Danhausen's involvement is the only joy in SmackDown. We're not even going to do a SmackDown synopsis.
Greg's like, skip it.
Telling you now.
Well, we're going to do it, but you're just going to be like, cut it all.
Yeah, all right. Fair.
I like to play the song, Greg. Also, Greg, if you've noticed, the choir has assembled behind me again.
Yeah, I see them.
Yes, because you've done it, Greg. You have finally willed this into existence.
Oh.
Greg got down, prayed one night. Lord, please end this awful fight. Heaven said, all right. Hallelujah, sing it loud. Praise the Lord, we're free right now. MFTs and why it's done. Greg just won, we're shouting out.
And then they announced that match.
Yeah.
But they were right until they announced that match. I was sure until we got that announcement that this was going to be the happiest you were ever going to be.
Oh, listen, if one was loser leaves town or winner and loser leaves town, I would have been really happy.
Well, they don't have these SmackDown tag titles anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. But still.
I guess if they had SmackDown tag titles, it wouldn't matter.
No, it's fair. Still wouldn't be on WrestleMania. Dude, this match, though, was actually good. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga are two of the best Samoan wrestlers. They had a great match. Yeah, this was Samoan on Samoan violence in Samoa Town.
With a swinging reverse DDT by Tama Tonga that looked amazing. There was the pop-up combo into the moonsault, which was awesome for the finish. But that's not the story of this match. The story of this match is uncooperative handcuffs in the beatdown afterwards.
Yeah, the handcuff spot that it seems like kept going wrong and wrong and wrong.
The handcuff spot, as we put air quotes around those handcuffs, dude.
Yeah, well, that's about all that those handcuffs were hanging on with his air because they did not go well.
Yeah, so Drew beats him down, DDTs him on the floor, basically knocks him out, puts handcuffs on him, and then hangs him with the extra long handcuffs, hangs him on the ring post. And Jacob Fatu does what Jacob Fatu should do when he gets kicked in the head, pinned his head between the ring posts. He goes limp. And when he goes limp, the handcuffs let go and he lands on the ground. Ouch.
Yep.
So then the handcuffs go back on and Drew throws them up. And I'm like, oh, good for Drew. He's making it work. And then he hits him again. And then Jacob fights back just a smidgen. And when he gets hit the second time by Drew, the handcuffs come off again.
Right.
So Drew has to put them on again before he throws them in the ring to do the final parts of the beatdown. You know what? On a show where the MFTs had matches, the worst worker on the show was the handcuffs.
The damn handcuffs. Uh-huh.
I would say that the handcuffs should have a match against the Bellas at WrestleMania, and none of us have to watch it.
That sounds more and more like something you get on pay-per-view in advance. Or maybe there's something you can ask Mandy Rose to put on.
Like, I could keep going with those, Greg. You were flying.
I'm something. I'm something, bro.
Oh, wait. Or maybe it's something that Nikki's new boyfriend is asking her to do.
Who's Nikki's new boyfriend?
She keeps dropping references to that 22-year-old football player.
Oh, I don't know.
She's dating a man. I mean, my wife's like 9 years older or 7.5 years older than me. So probably shouldn't be making jokes with this.
You can't really make these jokes. Yeah, I got you. Mm-hmm.
You know what they say? Those who live in glass houses should get dressed with the lights off.
Yeah.
We're just rolling with the jokes. Okay.
For everyone's sanity, I think.
Greg, R-Truth and Danhausen at the booth explaining how to get ESPN. And if this doesn't sell ESPN to people, then what's wrong with you people?
I don't know what will.
My favorite part is when Damian Priest comes in, they call him out and saying, oh, you now know he's Danhausen and not Asuka. And he's like, I knew he was Danhausen all along. Yeah, you were the one that was confused.
That was so funny.
It was so great. And then Rhea comes in after she's killed BFAB. BFAB just comes flying in. Like, say what you want about BFAB. She takes what she gets and she does a great job with it.
Yeah.
And then there's the joke about Judgment Day. And of course, at this point, and I'm the one that's confused. Damian Priest. I think I could pull that soundbite. I might pull that soundbite, Greg. I'm the one that's confused. Yeah. I think that could be wrestling fans heading into WrestleMania. I'm the one that's confused.
I think that's where we're good, because I've been struggling to get an episode title for this one. I think that's what we're calling this. I'm the one that's confused.
So guess what, Greg?
What?
Sami Zayn. He's going to WrestleMania, Greg.
Yeah, I've even cooled off on this really quickly too.
He hasn't changed though.
Has he? I mean, he was still pretty in between the last time we saw him. Like, is he a face? Is he a heel? No. Excuse me.
Oh, Greg's like,
all right, good hiccups now.
Well, that's because you're thinking about this.
Well, Greg, watch this in regular speed. A hit 1.5, yeah, that's the need. If it's mid, he's skipping ahead. If it's fire, he'll watch it dead.
Yeah, except Netflix screwed me over and I can't do 1.5 speed on my phone anymore. Stupid Netflix.
Okay, do you know that is a WWE exclusive thing?
That does not surprise me. WWE is constantly screwing me out of my joy.
So I happen to be watching One Piece. I'm going through the One Piece anime series, and I was watching on my phone, and it's like one of those draggy anime episodes. Right. And then I clicked on it and went to 1.5, and I was like, "Fuck, crap! And I forgot to text you right away. I should have texted you right away, dude. You know why? Because that was when I realized this is a decision by Netflix.
Yeah.
This is somebody has said, hey, the wrestling fans are watching this at 1.5 speed. What does it matter if I'm watching it?
I don't know. I can now do clips on my phone from Netflix and just steal their content.
Which is so weird.
I know.
Anyways, neither here nor there. Greg and I are watching WWE and Sami Zayn hasn't changed according to him. He has ride or die fans. Whoop that trick. Gingerbread man shirt comes out, and Greg, he goes on about how he's got the swag, he's got all the talk, and he's got the flavor. He's got the sauce, Greg. Greg, are you buying that sauce?
No, I'm not. Not even a little bit.
But are you buying the gingerbread?
No, not even that.
And of course, this leads to Sami saying, hey, man, we'll find out. I'm a WrestleMania main eventer. I'm going to drag you into deep waters.
Yeah.
A WrestleMania main eventer who's probably going to be on the pre-show.
Yes.
Could be worse, Greg. He could be the tag team champion. That would mean he's not on the show.
That's very fair.
So, dude, this whole thing, then we get your favorite wrestler. And by the way, I am going to share with you now. I've been working on the graphics in the background during the show. Greg, all hail Matt Cardona.
All hail Matt Cardona, king of the jobbers.
Yeah. So in our graphic this week will be Matt Cardona, king of the jobbers. People think we're being mean, and this is from somebody. I bought a Zack Ryder shirt when it was the basic shirt you could buy in the thing. I have the thing he sent me. I still kept the envelope. I have that stuff. I am a huge Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona fan. I have multiple t-shirts. I am just offended that this is what we're doing with him.
Dude. Well, I'll tell you, this is probably as good a time as any. An hour ago, Matt Cardona posted this on Facebook. He says, I wasn't originally scheduled to wrestle yesterday on SmackDown. I was just going to film a commercial and maybe even fly home early. I still show up in shape, tan, and ready to go. Guess what happened? Things changed, and I got a match. I was, wait for it, always ready. In my mind, that's how you're supposed to be. If you want opportunities, show up prepared no matter what. I didn't get the win against Trick Williams. Spoiler. And yes, I've lost more matches than I've won since I've returned to WWE, but check my win-loss record over my 20-plus years in this business. Even in the past 5 years that I've spent on the indies, I lose a lot. But when I win big. I'm not finished.
I got to say, his positive attitude makes me love the man even more.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely very positive. But yeah, I feel bad that he came back for this.
Well, it could be worse. You could be Tiffany Stratton, who came back at the Royal Rumble for what?
That's another good question.
Chelsea Green?
Damn good question. Neither of which were on the show.
Let me give you another one. We have all kinds of women's matches that are going to happen at WrestleMania.
Right.
The most in history. Where's Julia? Oh, Craig shaking his head like, dude.
I don't know.
And it looks like whatever match that they were all going to be in is totally done.
Yeah.
They're with Johnny Gargano and the tag division.
Yeah.
And at least the tag division is going to get to be in the Under the Giant Battle Royal.
That's fair. I don't know what they're doing for the women. Probably not.
I'm going to say a match on SmackDown.
Or Raw after. I don't know.
It's brutal. Like it is. And I get it. Not everybody can be on WrestleMania. You need people to be on the Raw and the SmackDown afterwards. But when you look at some of the women that deserve things, like I would say Julia and Tiffany and Chelsea could have been a great match at WrestleMania.
Dude, the SmackDown or the Raw after WrestleMania was one of my favorites for years. That's one of the ones that you'd actually always watch. The last few years, it's not worth tuning into, quite frankly, at all.
Okay, so anyways, Matt Cardona hits a few moves, including the broski boot. Apparently that arm's pretty much healed, but he gets distracted. There's a distraction on the outside. Sami takes out little Yachty with a haluva kick after Yachty puts his hands on him.
That was actually kind of nice.
And then you know what would have been awesome? You could have had Cardona pin Trick,
Yeah.
but no, he gets out.
Because he could have been bending out of the ring to check on Little Yachty, get rolled up 1, 2, 3, but no.
Right. And then you know what the other thing that does, Greg? And you ready? This is going to be logical. Then the next SmackDown after Mania, once we know Trick is going to win, you then can have Cardona come out and say, I'm always ready.
Yeah.
And then Trick can beat him real quick.
Yep.
So anyways, whatever. This is where my recap button is about to explode. You ready? Here we go.
Right.
Recap 1, which is actually recap 6 of the night. This was Oba and Brock. Here we go. Oh, and then don't forget highlights from another WrestleMania between Triple H, John Cena, and Randy Orton. And then the curse from last week.
I was gonna say here's what I can say about the Oba and Brock. They have not cut one promo and have a more enticing storyline than pretty well anything on the roster right now.
Okay, so that's going to be on the ESPN. If that match, if they start that match and then it finishes on the ESPN app, is that fair or foul?
I think the whole match is going to be on ESPN, not on the app.
What if the match starts and then they get basically through the entrances and then they say you have to go to the
have to go to then what I would do is I would tell you to go and get a VPN like Surfshark and just watch the damn thing on Netflix that you're already paying for.
Damn. I think it would be a smart move to do. I just think that
just watch it on Netflix. Yeah.
Greg, you're flying tonight. All right, Greg, this is the match of the night. Like, not for in-ring action, because that definitely was the Samoan beatdown. But I mean, damn, this was a good match.
Which one?
Danhausen versus Kit Wilson.
Okay, we're on to the Kit Wilson one now. Yes, of course.
This is the second last match of the night.
Yes. So first of all, we're going to give a little hat tip here to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful, because as Danhausen was getting announced to the ring, he is announced as from 1311 Mockingbird Lane.
What's his weight? Because that was always the fun.
Hold on, but 1311 Mockingbird Lane would make him to be a next door neighbor to the Munsters.
Well played, Danhausen.
Well played at that. I didn't pay attention to his weight.
It's usually really high because that's the joke, is that he is like a super heavyweight.
Oh, that's really funny.
So Kip is getting called out in commentary. I love how Kit Wilson is being called Kip on commentary, and I'm dying laughing because
Barrett's not having any of it.
And also because that's usually my slip.
Yeah, it is.
But that's he's a world-class broadcaster, so I don't feel so bad anymore. Danhausen gets a great little suplex early, but pretty much he eats some back elbows, one on the outside, a couple in the ring. And then when Kit Wilson is about to finish the match, he gets cursed when Danhausen sits up. The pyro goes off.
Hold on. Before that, there's the Miz outside the ring, turned back facing the ring.
Yeah.
And Danhausen comes out and puts the arm around the Miz, which of course is paying homage to Shawn Michaels and Melina spot. And from the who was it? CM Punk and Rhea Ripley, or was it?
There was one where it was
Rhea Ripley was the
victim. Yeah, I don't think it was Punk. It was it may have been. Was it
The Miz maybe and Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, or it was Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah, I think maybe it was Seth and Rhea Ripley. And then now you've got Danhausen and The Miz recreating it in that spot outside the ring. I was like, oh, man, that's funny.
But the curse is real. The
curse is real.
The pyro goes off and Kit falls from the top ropes, and Danhausen takes advantage.
Crotches himself on the top
Right.
ropes.
And then, crotches, then falls, and then eats a big boot, and Danhausen wins. And then my other favorite part is when Miz tries to get him, he has forgotten that he is still cursed. So the lights go out, and Danhausen escapes.
Yep.
Danhausen is undefeated on SmackDown.
Undefeated on SmackDown. His curses are all working well. Like, yeah, what more do you want?
What you want is Rhea Ripley to be destroying Michin in the back. And of course, Jade finds Michin with the kendo stick shattered around her.
Yeah, did we even talk about her Rhea Ripley destroying BFAB earlier?
Yeah, we talked about how BFAB did. I mean, we gave BFAB props because she came flying in, dude.
Yeah.
So all the baddies are gone. And I'm going to keep calling them the baddies, even though WWE will never call them the baddies, because that's what the faction that followed Jade around in AEW is called.
That's fair.
Io's in the back with Rhea, and Io's got this. And she said, just leave some for me. And we knew that at some point, Rhea was going to get involved, but we didn't know how.
Right.
So our main event tonight, Greg, is Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley we didn't have anything booked for this. And we had so many recaps that this match only really went about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Cool
Drop kick from Rhea. Oh, sorry, from Io, where she gets thrown up in the air for a Jade headbutt and she counters. She does a dive to the outside, but gets beat down. Most of this match is just Jade beating her down, eventually catching her with a wheelbarrow slam into the steps and Jaded for the win. This is a good match. I wish they had about 10 more minutes.
Yeah, me too.
And then afterwards, we get a steel chair come in with Jade. Jade goes out, grabs steel chair, comes back in. She's going to destroy Io. But man, Rhea Ripley flies to the ring, dude. Of
course.
At warp speed.
Yep.
And then she dives into the ring, hops into the ring.
Hops into the ring.
And protects Io, and we have a face-off. I love what Jade does here. Again, I don't normally say I love what Jade does, but she takes the chair, drops it outside the ring, slides out, then grabs the chair and just sits on it for a second. Enough, I'm sure that there's a beautiful shot of that somewhere, and it worked. This was a perfectly good match. Io was beat up on
SmackDown.
Yeah, Io was beat up on Raw, so she wasn't at 100%, and this leads to this. The only other match I think we're going to get, and it's going to involve Io, is I think Io is going to have a match with Asuka.
I don't think we're getting it on WrestleMania though.
We have SmackDown before.
Well, maybe.
Greg, here, let me play a song for you.
This is your SmackDown synopsis.
Greg, go ahead.
Watch Danhausen.
And?
I think I got it all.
Okay, because if you don't watch Danhausen,
you are guest.
Yeah, that's really it.
And with the rest of SmackDown, well,
yep, I approve this message.
I would say there's more on this show that you could have watched. Like, you can enjoy the Samoans. You can enjoy the Io match, even though it was short. But there is some questionable booking on the show. And Pat McAfee, I think either you love him or you hate him. And I think the internet has spoken. They hate him.
Yep. So yeah, next week. I don't know what we're going to do.
I think Friday we should talk about the Mania. And we should play a game called Will Greg Watch This?
Oh, you want to play that game?
I do. I think that is because here's the thing. 20 years ago, you would have had to buy this pay-per-view, right? You would have had to you'd have to go someplace, you'd have to buy a box, or you'd have to pay for it online, or you'd have to find a legal way to stream it. Something. Now, you have this because you have Netflix. And so there's no reason you couldn't watch as much of this as you want.
I'm just curious. I'm looking right now. Hold on. as you kind of said that, that kind of just triggered something for me. I just want to see here.
You're looking up the card for WrestleMania because they have both nights out.
No, I'm looking for I'm looking at what's on next Saturday, because as you kind of said that, it kind of reminded me that, you know, when years ago, what you'd have to do is you could even go to like
A theater.
Empire Theaters or Cineplex, because I never remember what the new name is now. And I was just wondering if that is even something that they do anymore.
In Canada, why would they? In the States, it would make a lot of sense. Like ESPN.
They do not. There's nothing in Empire Theaters or Cineplex right now. I just went looking. I was just curious. But yeah.
Now, the $1 million question is, so I'm going to tell you, there's a distinct possibility they're adding one match to the night 2, as I just pulled up the cards, because there are 7 on night 1.
Yeah, and there are only 6 on night 2.
And so I think, and we know Triple H loves Io Sky. I think Io's getting on this card.
Maybe.
Well, let's just put, you know what? Let's put all the odds and sods together, and we can have a women's ladder match.
How about this? How about you and I not do anything special on Friday? We'll do a podcast Saturday morning like we usually do. We'll talk about the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and then we'll talk about we'll prep for Mania.
Yeah, and
then we'll play your game.
Yes, and we can play the game where it's like, will Greg watch this? And by then we'll have both cards filled out, and we can see who we'll basically get to see. The other game I think we should play when we're watching the Andre the Giant Battle Royal is we rank the wrestlers in the Battle Royal based on the most likelihood to get released.
All right. That's our plan. That's our plan for next week.
And
we're not gonna give you a full SmackDown review unless something extraordinary happens. We're just gonna talk the Andre the Giant Battle Royal because it's different. But the rest of that show is going to be Brad would break his recap finger for pushing the button.
Dude, that show. The only other thing that I think we might talk about, we'll see if we get Tiffy, we might talk about the Tiffy match because we don't usually skip Tiffy time.
No, we don't. We listen, you and I, as we were talking about off air before we got on this, we are big fans of times involving Tiffy and other things.
Amen.
All right,
with friends. That, goodbye, and we'll see you next week for our WrestleMania preview / SmackDown, mostly Andre the Giant Battle Royal recap.
The Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial Battle Royal review.
By the way, I'm going to leave this as our last thought before we go to the theme song. I am begging WWE to put some stakes in that Battle Royal.
I wish they did, but they're not going to.
Why don't we make it for the SmackDown tag team titles?
Listen, it might be all tag team people in there, so who knows?
It would make sense. Okay, so that means it's not happening.
Not happening. Okay, bye, friends.
The revolutionary podcast in sports entertainment. Father Greg and Brad, the dad bless you all with the lovely tales. But Friday night, SmackDown and beyond. Go to the outer limits of your mind with the SmackDaddies. Go to the outer limits of your mind with the SmackDaddies.